Also this hour, the man charged in the murder of Kada Scott, a young woman in Philadelphia, will be in court. This is 21-year-old Keon King. He is being held without bail. He faces murder, robbery, theft, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and obstruction of justice charges. Investigators ruling Scott's death a homicide after the 23-year-old's body was found in a shallow grave at an abandoned middle school last month. She died from a gunshot to the head. Scott was reported missing almost a month ago when she didn't come home after an overnight shift at work. She was last seen by family on October 4th and by a coworker that night outside of the senior living facility where she worked. According to court documents, Kada and King had plans to meet up. Their final text exchange, "Call me when you're here." The next day, King's phone pinged multiple times at the area Scott's body would later be found. 10 days later, King was arrested. 3 days after that, an anonymous tip led police to the abandoned middle school where a woman's body was found in that shallow grave. The next day, DNA testing reveals the remains were Kada Scott. That leads us to today, and King is in court for the first time. Joining us now, attorney Michael Veen. Thank you for being here. You're in the Philadelphia area. I know this case is getting a lot of coverage there and across the country. How strong is the prosecution's case given the evidence?
Well, we only have a little bit of the evidence from the news reporting and the affidavit of probable cause that was filed by the prosecutor's office. We haven't heard anything about what defenses may or may not be available to Mr. King, but certainly from the news reports, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that would, let prosecutors file the case. But remember, there is a presumption of innocence in this case and every criminal prosecution.
Of course. There are two prior cases that involve King that have been getting a lot of attention, Michael, and one includes kidnapping and strangulation of a girlfriend. The fact that is coming back now is that they were dismissed. Why and how might that be a factor?
Well, from a media standpoint, it's a factor because it ties them in to a certain extent to a pattern of conduct. But those cases probably for the criminal prosecution won't be admissible. First of all, he was charged, but the charges didn't even survive a preliminary hearing. There is a rule of evidence in Pennsylvania and the federal courts that says prior conduct can be admissible if there are certain exceptions met. But it's really a rule of preclusion rather than a rule of exclusion. And that's going to be an important fact in this case and in the prosecution. Don't think it'll come in. But certainly the media loves to hear it.
One other thing investigators are looking into is whether or not King had any help in moving Scott's body and burying it, as he's alleged to have done. What's the status of a potential accomplice?
Well, my understanding here from talking to some folks in the office is there are no charges pending right now on anybody. They are conducting a thorough and a full investigation. They'll be looking at the cell phones. They'll be paying towers when they can. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure on friends and family of this defendant to see if they can get the information that they need to continue with the prosecution.
This will be his first appearance in court since his arrest and since the charges came down. What will happen today?
Well, I believe that the preliminary hearing currently is actually scheduled for a week today. There was an arraignment. No bail was allowed. But if I looked at the court dockets correctly this morning, the preliminary hearing will be a week from today.
Why has this case garnered so much attention locally, and it's also been brought up politically in a race that's happening tomorrow with the DA? What stands out to you about this tragedy?
Well, there are so many. The volume in Philadelphia of criminal cases right now is always a challenge for both prosecution and defense. The district attorney's office and the public defender's office always have their hands full. But here in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, there's some bail guidelines. And the bail that's been set in the past have really just followed the guidelines. People, I know people are saying there was something the DA's office did or the judges did wrong. As I see it, and I probably have a little bit of a closer view than your viewers do, the procedures have really been followed. There were the first case, there were 3 court appearances where the complaining witness never appeared. There's another complaint and charges. There are 2 appearances there where the complaining witness never appeared and declined to pursue a prosecution. The government can only, the prosecutors can only do so much with what they got. I've heard that, they had video of him knocking at a window and that should be enough, but probably not. When the complaining witnesses don't show to court, there's nothing for the prosecutors to go forward on.
Yeah. As a criminal defense attorney, if you were representing him, what do you think is the most likely defense here?
Well, if you can get an alibi defense here, that would be a very strong defense. But before you get to, those defenses, though, you really have to look at the constitutional defenses that are afforded to all criminal defendants under the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment of the Constitution. You have to get the discovery in, and then you really have to analyze the facts of the case and the facts of the investigation and the facts of the arrest to see if the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment have been violated. If they're violated, they're really basic defenses there. But certainly in a case like this, alibi is going to be pretty important.
Michael van der Veen, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.